Hello. Wow, this is something really new interface. Okay, what exactly happened? Okay, I just updated my mobile now. So this is kind of like a something recorder new update. Like it visually looks really good. Okay, yeah, like I can see the waveform and yeah, and there is a AI speech recognition. That is really good. Okay, yeah. Whatever. Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3373, maybe 73 or 74. Today's date is 29th of March 2025. It's been almost like a night at 10:24 p.m. All right. So there is a couple of things I wanted to talk. What are those? Lately, my design is really not that good as I want it to be. Okay, what is actually my design? Okay, so I am doing this graphic designing. First of all, I am a content creator. Like I'm actually kind of like saying this thing every time in the Artifact episode, but still, like some people who don't really just open up this video and kind of like somebody looking at what the fuck who am I and what I'm okay, yeah. Okay, what is actually design and what are those? Okay, yeah. I am a content creator. I am kind of like somebody creating content, upload those content on YouTube, Instagram platform. My genre is graphic designing, Photoshop, photography. Okay. Usually in my graphic designing, I kind of like a create design in Photoshop. Okay. Lately, like I'm doing this thing for almost like a year. Okay. I have almost like a 1,400 subscriber, not really that much. I am actually uploading design every single day. Okay. um, Lately means yesterday I made design, and design is really not that good. I don't really like it. Okay. It kind of like add some sort of like a creative values. It doesn't look really good visually, but it added some sort of value when you realize the meaning of that. Okay. But still most of people are kind of like simply judge content according to the visual basis, not on the visual basis mostly. So I have to make sure that the design is top notch, so I have to work on that. Okay. But we figure it out that ki what is actually reason why the design is not really that good. Okay, like yesterday you made a design. Okay. And that design is really not that good. What is actually the reason of that? Okay, so problem was that ki I kind of like a something didn't really know what is exactly my design. Didn't really know means like that. Like basically, okay, let me tell you one thing now. So yesterday design was like that ki there is a big hand. Okay. And kind of like a something a big hand. There is a guy who is like a there is a guy who act like a puppet. Okay, yeah. And the puppet has a kind of like a string attached to the hand. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to showcase that kind of like a something a image where you are kind of like bounded by some sort of person or some sort of system. Okay. I associate this image with kind of like a somebody employee who are actually kind of like a somebody 9 to 5 job. Means like that they are kind of like a stuck into that particular routine zone and they won't be able to move anything at all. It's kind of like a somebody a puppet. Okay. So I was actually thinking that. Okay. And I wanted to kind of like a something, this is my kind of like a something thought process, and I could do that like basically it doesn't really add like a difficult. Like I just have to kind of like a took a photo as a kind of like a something puppet, another photo is my hand. Okay. And rest of the thing is actually do in the Photoshop. I did it. Okay, I did. If you wanted to see, it's on my Instagram probably. I'm not really sure that when you are actually listening this thing and something like that, but still. Okay. If you wanted to know what is actually my design, then probably I uploaded that design on 28th of March 2025. So probably you just have to go to my Instagram and scroll through. Yeah. So 29th of March. Okay. This design is actually based on kind of like a something I'm talking about the employee, okay, who are kind of like a stuck into that particular routine. So I was thought that ki what if I kind of like a something represent this thing in as a weekly basis. Means like that ki Monday to Friday that person is kind of like simply act like a puppet. But since the Saturday and Sunday came, means like weekend, that puppet get off, and basically you will get kind of like a something very energy, and you will act like a roar, kind of like a something king of jungle, something like that, lion or things like that. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to create that particular image. Okay, yeah. If you could kind of like see that image is didn't really look that well. Like it's not okay. It doesn't really look that good. So probably is this thing. What is actually reason why? I don't know, yeah, dude. It's like that, na. Ki I think that ki sometimes na, I wanted to showcase some sort of message through my creativity, through my graphic designing, but problem is that the visually it doesn't look that good. Okay, yeah. First of all, is that ki that scale was actually I mentioned the scale is a Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, वगैरह. Okay, that scale was like really not that good. As also the arm is actually connected to that pulley, and that pulley connected to that particular scale. It's kind of like a something consumed too much amount of space regarding about the scale that I mentioned. So if I wanted to increase the scale and probably have a little bit gap, that might be kind of like a look something really different. But probably is this thing na ki I try this thing, but unfortunately the other side of kind of like a something image, na other side of image means like that ki the person became really feel lion, something like that. Okay, it takes kind of like a, I don't know, yeah, it's the image doesn't look that good. Okay, yeah. And if I like, I have to think very creatively regarding about that ki what kind of like a solution should I supposed to do it. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna happen if I just talk and just figure it out. No, nothing really at all. I have to be kind of like a something look, and kind of like a something, it's kind of like a something visually look good. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this is kind of like a something design. But what is actually reason that, okay, yeah, why that design is really not that good? What is actually happened? Probably is this thing na ki like a hectic. Yeah, hectic means like that ki like I kind of like a simply decided to myself that ki I should supposed to upload 2 design per day. Okay, yeah. So yesterday usually everything is like a, what is actually my routine? Okay, let me tell you one thing routine, then I'm gonna mention about that. Okay, yeah. So since I wake up, okay, I usually kind of like imagine that, or kind of like figure it out which kind of like a complete design I should supposed to be take. Okay, yeah. If I finalize my design, then I took the photo regarding about that. Okay. Then usually after I ate my kind of like a something like did my work. Okay, I have to do some sort of work at home, like mopping the floor and things like that. And I kind of like sit in front of my desk at 11 a.m. Okay, yeah. Since I decide like I kind of like decided that before the lunch my design should supposed to be done. Okay, yeah. So I have almost like a 3 or 4 hour, okay, like basically 2 hour for kind of like simply create the design. Okay, yeah. That 2 hour, sometimes it's kind of like a some significant amount of time to create the design in Photoshop. Yeah, but some designer kind of like a somebody really required so much amount of effort and things like that. Okay, yeah, I wanted to improve in details. Okay, and there is a lack of so many details into that thing. Okay, like shadows are missing, the floor are kind of like a something missing. There are a lot of stuff that I wanted to make it improve, but I didn't really improve that thing. Is because of that kind of like a somebody time constraint. Because of that key, yesterday I created design in kind of like a somebody very hurry thing, like I should supposed to be do that thing quickly as possible as I can, and then yeah. So like it kind of like a something that key time constraint. Because of time constraint, I kind of like design such a thing where little bit really horrible. Okay, yeah. Like it's not really like I'm not gonna say that ki this design is kind of like a take too much amount of time. No, it's not that. Okay, yeah. It's like that na ki when you are trying to create some sort of design which is not actually exist in the real world, which is not actually exist, you just have to think, okay, from every point of perspective, like what it looked like this, what it kind of like only look like that. Probably you have to be create some sort of image inside of your head and try to do those things in Photoshop. Okay, yeah. And after everything you put the effort, and the things didn't really that things didn't really work as the way that you want it to be. Okay, I means like that the expectation is didn't really the realities didn't really meet the expectation that I want. So you just have to try and again and again and again. Okay, yeah. So that takes time. Okay, that takes time. Okay, yeah. So because of that time constraint, I kind of like simply lose some sort of design touch. So which is kind of like a something feel really bad. Okay, yeah. So uh today I haven't really made any kind of like a design because I was today quite busy regarding about that. I went to the Ambuda and things like that. Ambuda is a kind of like a some a religious place. I went with my mother, and yeah, it took almost like an entire day. So when I came home, I kind of like a somebody already frustrated regarding about the yesterday design. And other thing is that today I wanted to create the design, but I don't know, my mentality is at kind of like a somewhere and things like that. So instead of wasting my time, I kind of like wrote my book. Okay, yeah, wrote my book. Okay, what is really wrote, like I didn't really wrote the book, like basically what is actually is this thing. I am kind of like something writing my book. Okay, yeah. And till now I kind of like wrote almost like a nine book. Okay, nine book. Okay, wrote the book, like you are kind of like thinking that you are kind of like writing the book. No, it's not like basically what is actually this thing. Okay, the things that I'm kind of like somebody talking in artifact. Okay, yeah. So it's a kind of like a somebody content. I upload that content on a YouTube platform that you are kind of like somebody listening this thing. So what I do is that like only reason that I upload this content on YouTube is because of that I get kind of like a somebody very clean kind of like a transcription from audio to text. Okay, because the subtitle that automatically created on the YouTube platform. Yeah, and it is kind of like a somebody very good for kind of like a somebody figure it out the language and like a barrier. And like even if I speak any language like Hindi, Marathi, any kind of like assembly language, YouTube could understand that language and create the subtitle by its own automatically. Okay, yeah. This is kind of like a assembly mechanism which is not even exist, like a base not even exist means like that na ki it is exist. Yeah, it is exist. Like there are so many AI audio transcriptor, like basically those kind of like assembly transcriptors who are kind of like a convert speech into the text. Okay, yeah. But mostly those are paid, and literally after you paid that much amount of money, they are not that much clean. Okay, literally they are not that much kind of like somebody really clean, really kind of like somebody understand every words and things like that. YouTube is only one kind of like assembly platform which kind of like somebody transcribe the audio into the text, and whatever the language that you use, any kind of like assembly language, it kind of like a create the subtitle very easily. Okay, yeah. So basically if I create that subtitle, so I just have to download that subtitle, put it on the chat GPT, and kind of like a convert it into the kind of like a simply book format. Okay, that's it. Means like that, whatever stuff that I kind of like, okay, if you wanted to kind of like simply know, just like just go to the description. There is kind of like a something the content that I kind of like simply pasted on created by the chat GPT. Okay, yeah. So what I do is that copy that subtitle, paste into the chat GPT, and kind of like took the prompt that correct the grammar, sentence, and make it fun to read. Okay, yeah. And add a title and subtitle. That's it. And then YouTube, then ChatGPT is kind of like a convert the entire subtitle into the kind of like a paragraph format. Okay, with title, subtitle, and everything. So which is kind of like a really good. So I just copy that data and paste on the Google Doc. And after, yeah, I kind of like a somebody complete almost like a 200 pages of that thing. Okay, yeah, means like that, yeah, I just have to kind of like assembly upload multiple of kind of like assembly artifact episodes. So that's why you could kind of like see there are almost like thousands of artifact in my channel. Okay, yeah. Like basically I didn't really start this thing by the purpose, no. Like I'm kind of like doing this artifact for almost like a decade. Okay, not because of kind of like assembly uploading for the YouTube and kind of like wrote the book and things like that, personal development and things like that. In fact, so many times why I started this thing. So yeah, I don't want to talk about that thing because it's a kind of like a whole another episode. Okay, yeah. But still is this thing that because of I have artifact and I wanted to kind of like assembly in 2025 I decided to start reading. Okay, because I don't really have any kind of like a habit of read. So I decided instead of reading other books, make sure why not I should supposed to be read my artifact. So I convert my artifact into the text format, and then I started reading this thing. And as well as I'm kind of like uploading that text into the kind of like in book format and upload and make the book and list it on the Amazon bookstore. Okay, yeah. And which is really good somewhat. Like basically it's someone kind of like buy that particular book, then Yeah, it is really good. Okay, yeah. So basically this thing, because of this artifact, not only it kind of like improve my development things like that, but as also I am kind of like using as a kind of like only content to earn money from the YouTube. Okay, as well as kind of like make a book on the make a book and kind of like a simply upload it on the Google, sorry, Amazon, Amazon bookstore, and then I will start earning money from there too. You are such an asshole. No, I'm not really asshole. It's kind of like a something. No, I just figure it out that way. Probably. I'm not really sure about that. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is it. Like I'm not gonna extend even more. Like a today is kind of like a something. Like I have a little bit pressure. Okay, the nature calls. Okay, so this is it. This is it, and thank you.